Hey everybody, it's Yasmin here, about to go live on my weekly radio show. So let me just quickly sort myself out. Talking about Mercury retrograde this week, if you're interested in Mercury retrograde. And we're talking about, what else are we talking about? Sorry guys, let me quickly, here we go. So yes, Mercury retrograde, Mars opposite Chiron, the Sun opposite, Chiron. So basically, we're talking about Mercury retrograde and relationships and healing. Plus I'll be doing cards. And if you would like to call in and have me look at your chart, the number to call is 816-251-3555. We actually haven't gone live yet. We're going live, I don't know how long. 1 minute. We're going live in 1 minute. That's Louis over there in the US of A. Om Namo Narayani, Om Namo Narayani, Om Namo Narayani. Haven't done a radio show for a long time. So, Jackie Robbins wants to be in my video. Well, I wouldn't mind having you in my video, Jackie, but maybe not when I'm going live on the radio, because if you're going to say, like, it's a bit different if it's just my thing, probably not what I'm doing for Unity. If you want to listen to the show online, it's unityonlineradio.org. unityonlineradio.org. I look good, says Claire. Thank you. Well, I'm using a filter.
What's your question or
And I'm
comment?
taking lots and lots of vitamins and all sorts of stuff.
816-251-3555.
My little earrings in from Nicole, I think it's her name is.
Get in tune with the sun, moon, and stars. This is Astrology with Yasmin.
Hey everybody, it's Yasmin Boland here with another installment of Astrology with Yasmin, which is my weekly radio show that goes out every week at this time on unityonlineradio.org and as a podcast and as a Facebook Live. And basically it's 1 hour that I love to do when I look at the astrology for the week ahead, and I could almost say more importantly, hopefully I get to speak to you guys and have a look at your chart or do you a card reading and so on. So if you are calling from the States, it's easy. If you're calling from anywhere else, it's a bit more complicated. But from the States, you just dial 816-251-3555. That's 816-251-3555. The number is in the description if you're watching on Facebook. And I believe if you're not in the States, so if you're in the UK, for example, you would dial 001 and then 816-251-3555. So 001, 816-251-3555. Yeah, so this is actually the first show I've done for, I mean, it's got to be at least 2 months. Because first of all, I went on holidays, which was rather lovely. And then, of course, I came back and I got the dreaded COVID, which was horrible. I'm feeling much better. And I'd like to thank everybody who sent me healing because I truly believe it helped. And yeah, no, it was a complete nightmare. I could barely breathe at one point. I think I was pretty close to going to hospital. And I am double vaccinated, just for the record. So had I not been vaccinated, presumably I'd be 6 feet under by now. So there you go. Nightmare. But nightmare over. I'm actually feeling much, much better. And as I said the other day somewhere, last night I decided to give myself a card, which sometimes I go through phases if I do oracle cards for myself every day, and sometimes I just do them every now and then, and right now I'm in an every now and then phase. And I thought I'm going to do a card for myself, and I did it. I did it on my phone because I've got my Moonology cards, my first deck. I've got them as an app on my phone. These are my first cards for those of you who don't know them or who don't know they're from me. They're the Moonology cards. And so I did it. And I just like to say I take Oracle cards really seriously, and I strongly recommend that anybody who uses them takes them really seriously. And so I basically was out of action, I think for 3 or 4 weeks. Couldn't really tell you exactly. Time all kind of melded into one. I'm just trying to find the card that I got for those of you who are watching on Facebook. You'll be able to see it. Let's see if I can quickly find it. So I thought, okay, what's the card going to tell me? Now we'll see what the universe is trying to tell me. And, you know, even the fact that I decided to do a card is significant because, you know, you only end up doing a card when you need to do a card. Okay, I can't find the card for some weird reason. I don't know. It's I think there are a couple of cards that were stuck together when I was shuffling through. But basically, it is a radio show, so not everyone can see anyway. But the long and the short of it is the card I got was the New Moon in Aries card. Now, a new moon is obviously always a beginning. And Aries, as you may or may not know, is the first sign of the zodiac. So the new moon in Aries is actually the first card in the deck. So it's a new moon in the first sign of the zodiac. So as you can imagine, it's a very much an energy of beginnings. And the card is actually, I can't find the card. That's a bit strange. Oh no, here it is. Look, there you go. I actually maybe I did it on the cards and not the app. And the card is here. You can see it if you're watching on Facebook. It's time to take action, the new moon in Aries card. So it's the new moon, which is beginnings, and Aries, which is beginnings, because it's the first sign of the zodiac. And, you know, basically the card reading was, it's time for you to get back into life. And I thought, okay, well, that sounds like good advice. Because I'd been very nervous about getting back too much, you know, doing too much too soon. Everybody sort of said, you know, you've got to go really slowly, don't over push yourself. But actually I won't talk about this forever. I'll just give you, on Saturday, I was actually thinking, oh, I'm getting a bit bored now. I've just been sitting on the couch watching TV for 3 weeks as I've got better. Like initially I was probably sleeping about 23 hours a day. And so I thought the fact that I'm getting bored is quite good. And then getting this card yesterday, it's time to take action. I thought, great. Okay, so I knew that I could come back here. I've started working on my diary edit that I'm doing for the 2023 diary. And here we are. So there we go. All right. So we've already got a couple of people on the line, but I did notice someone on Facebook was saying, can I have the number again? So if you're in the States, it's 816-251-3555. 816-251-3555. And if you're calling from the UK, it's 001 816-251-3555. So 001 816-251-3555. And if you happen to be calling from Australia, which I don't think many people will be because it's about 2 o'clock in the morning in Australia at the moment. But if you're up late, you've got a good plan on your phone plan, and you want to call 816-251-3555. Now you're just going to have to bear with me for 1 second because I've just realised, oh dear, my phone might be about to die, which is not good. So if you're on Facebook and my phone cuts out, there's nothing I can do about it. I don't seem to have a cord for it, which is really annoying and unusual. Hang on, I might just, sorry guys, just let me try and find the cord. Here's a cord. This might work. My beloved husband, who's our technical director, is next door meeting the builders because we are still renovating, you may or may not know. Has that worked? Hopefully that's worked. Don't know if it's worked on before you know it. I don't even know what that's connected to. Seems to be okay. Anyway, who knows? Facebook, if I disappear all of a sudden, just go to www.unityonlineradio.org. All right, so Louis, heads up. I would love to start by taking a call. So let me speak to Carla, who's on line 1, please. Are you there, Miss Carla?
Yes, I am.
Hello, how are you?
I am well. How are you?
I'm much, much better, thank you very much. Have you had COVID?
I did, almost a year ago.
A year ago. And how were you with it?
Very similar to you, I think. It took me a good, I would say, 6 weeks before I said I was back to normal.
Right, interesting, because actually a friend of mine, she said that it took her 2 months to the time when she sort of spontaneously said to her husband, oh, I feel like going for a run. So it took her 2 months to get to that phase. So, you know, sounds about right. Well, I don't know, I have to do my calculations. I've either had 3 or 4 weeks of it. But anyway, Carla, I've done your chart here. Are you in North Dakota? Or you were born there? Right.
No longer there.
Right. Where are you now?
Wisconsin.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. All right. So, you like the cold places? They both seem to be quite cold places.
Yes.
Yeah.
Change of season.
What's that?
Change of season.
Change of seasons, right. You know, if I lived in the States, I would go straight to California just for that endless summer. But anyway. So, Carla, what would you like to know about today? What's going on and how can I help you?
So with Mercury retrograde, I have, for whatever reason, the last 24, 36 hours, just all of a sudden had extreme anxiety over this retrograde. I have misplaced my Mercury retrograde book. I was planning on reading it.
For you, this one, Carla. Sorry guys, I'm just getting all set up. I'm not as set up as I thought I was. My phone's about to die, so if I don't, oh gosh. Sorry guys. I'll find my radio feet again very soon. I'm just quickly changing things here. All right, so basically what's going on for you, Carla, is that it's in a really super duper personal point of your chart, okay? So does that mean it's going to be really bad? No, it doesn't mean it's going to be really bad. So it's actually on your career line, on your MC. So tell me what's going on for you work-wise. Is there anything happening there?
Work is, like so many other companies, short-staffed, and I am very busy. I could have got called into work today, and I told them no. I need a day off.
Because you've been so stressed.
Yes, and it's a good. I mean, I'm working 12-hour days, at least 5 days a week.
Right. Oh gosh, that's a lot. What do you do?
I am a manager in a veterinary company.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, so basically, Carla, there's a couple of things to say. First of all is, you know, don't let Mercury retrograde freak you out. I'm just showing Facebook a copy of my Mercury retrograde book. Find the book and look up the 11th house because it's retrograding in your 11th house. So, in fact, the problem is it's going over your MC, and that's obviously stressing you out because you can feel the energies, okay? But it doesn't have to be a bad thing. Mercury retrograde really doesn't have to be a bad thing. I'm sure you know that by now if you've got the book. So the best thing that you can do really to try and work out the energies of this retrograde, given the fact that you're Sagittarius rising, and therefore the Mercury retrograde is taking place in your 11th house, is to go back and think about some old wishes that you used to have, dreams that maybe you've forgotten about, things that old dreams and wishes and hopes that you can get back in touch with, okay? And also to have a think about old friends that you'd like to get it back in touch with. That would be two really good ways to work out the energy, because basically what it is with astrology is that, as Robert Hand, who's probably the most famous astrologer in the world in astrology circles, said, you know, no transit dooms you. Like, there are some transits that most people will experience as quite tough, and there are some transits that most people will experience as quite positive, okay? But no transit is just bloody awful, full stop. And certainly Mercury retrograde is not an awful, you know, terrible thing. And in fact, that is why I wrote my book, the Mercury retrograde book, because I really wanted to get that message across, because Mercury retrograde kind of, it's a bit like the full moon. Mercury retrograde gets blamed for everything, you know, and it's not like that. It's actually a chance to rethink, revise, revamp, revisit, you know, renew. So think in your life, especially think about your career and what you do in terms of what the world recognizes you for doing. Think about how can I redo that? How do I want to redo that? If, you know, what would it look like if I could? Yeah, and it's also a time for you to have another think about your friends and social networks and your hopes and dreams, as I said. The upside is you're able to acquire new insights into who your friends really are. Now, that can be a mixed blessing sometimes. Sometimes you're like, oh, I thought you were my friend, and you're not actually. But are they a good influence? The downside of this cycle is there could be some friendships which suffer unless you stay in good humour. Accept that some of your hopes and dreams are changing. Do you just need a new approach to make them come true? So, you know, a very good time to reconnect with old friends, sort out a misunderstanding with a friend if you've fallen out with someone, recapture or redefine a dream, research networks that will help your goals, and spend time alone to rediscover yourself. And there it is. So what do you make of all that, Miss Carla?
It is reassuring to understand that a little bit better, yeah.
Yeah, well, find the book and read it. It will become clearer. So think about, what are my old dreams that I've just let go, or who's an old friend that I really need to sort things out with, or I want to get back in touch with, okay? I'm going to draw you a card, all right? Do you want a card?
Yes, I would love a card.
All right, okay. So, I'm taking it from my new deck because it will give you, it'll give you a little bit of instruction. So you actually got the Go Wild card. Well, apart from anything else, to me that supports your decision to take the day off, because, you know, it's saying just do what the heck you want. So that's quite good that you're sort of looking after yourself. Yeah, basically what it says is, don't try and control everything, throw everything up in the air, see where it lands, go a little wild, and have fun. Have fun. So it's quite a lot of information for you to take in, but you can always listen back on the podcast or whatever, and you know, just let it all sink in. There's quite a lot of information. I feel that information was all really relevant to you, Carla. So now let's see what you make of it all and what you do with it all.
That sounds good.
All right.
All right.
All right, well, let's leave it there then, young lady. Thank you for calling in.
All right. Continue to heal.
Okay. I don't know what she said, but nice to talk to you anyway, Carla. So there you go. So while I'm thinking of it, I actually had to, one of the reasons why I got up and made all that noise is because I had to get my Mercury retrograde book out of the cupboard. So let us have a look in this magical book, which I co-wrote with a wonderful astrologer called Kim Farnell a couple of years ago. It's actually a really good book. It's quite popular as well because it's one of the few of its kind. So let's have a look here. Well, basically, I came up with the idea for this book because I wanted to look at the positive side of Mercury retrograde, because Mercury retrograde gets such a bad rap, correct? And so every chapter, for example, I'm about to read this to you, the upside of Mercury retrograde in Libra, because Mercury this time around is going backwards in the sign of Libra. Now you might think, oh, well, that doesn't affect me then because I'm a Cancerian or whatever, but it affects everybody in different ways. So it will hit your chart in different ways. So for example, Carla was Sagittarius rising, so it's taking place in her 11th house. If you're Sag rising, it's taking place in your 11th house, which is what I kind of read out to her. So here we go. The upside of Mercury retrograde in Libra. And by the way, if you are hoping to reunite with a lost love, this is your time. So here we go. The plus side of Mercury retrograde in Libra is definitely that old loves can come back into your life if that's what you're pining for. Okay, sorry, I've just give me 1 second here. Okay, old loves can come back into your life if that's what you're pining for. This can be for reconciliation or for closure. Okay. By the same token, if you really want to revive an old love affair, don't wait for a chance meeting with your ex. If Mercury is retrograde in Libra, the skies totally support you in getting back in touch. That said, there are no guarantees, but it's worth a try. Libra is the sign most associated with fairness and justice. When Mercury is retrograde here, you may get a chance to right wrongs, yay, or perhaps get things done equitably to start with. Also, old grievances and general relationship issues can come to the surface at this time too, and that's because Libra is the sign of relationships. And we all have Libra in our chart somewhere. This can be positive, however, as it allows you to address problems you've been refusing to acknowledge and sort them out within a relationship. So that's darn good news. So there's always a positive side to Mercury retrograde. It gets a bad rap. Like I said, it's why I wrote this book. It's very likely going to be easier and more productive to have that difficult discussion with someone rather than avoid it. So if you're putting off a difficult discussion with someone, don't. Just go in for it. In fact, the discussion might not be necessary if you listen to what your loved one has to say. By resolving differences and mending ties, you can strengthen your relationships. 5 things to do when Mercury is retrograde in Libra. So, number 1, and this is over the next few weeks, okay? Address old problems with loved ones and be extra patient with them, okay? Number 2, look up your ex or a friend or relative, especially one you fell out with, and make peace. Libra loves to make peace. Forgive yourself for your past mistakes, especially those related to love or money. So you can do that for the whole of the period and especially focus at the time of the full moon while Mercury is retrograde in Libra. Renegotiate the terms of a personal or professional partnership. Nip relationship problems in the bud. Now, I've said that there's always an upside to Mercury retrograde. But, you know, Mercury still is the trickster of the zodiac and there still are things to watch out for. So here are some things to watch out for. Watch out for a general sense that the world is out of balance, because that can lead to misunderstandings and communications going wrong, especially in close relationships. It might be a misinterpretation of a few words or a disagreement about a larger issue. But somehow, if you're not seeing eye to eye with someone, just be careful, retrograde kind of thing. A little patience can make all the difference. Don't become heavily invested in decision making. If you feel your input isn't being heard or valued, remember that the scales will likely tip in your favor before all the weighing is done. Okay? Trying to keep the peace can push you into going along with whoever is around, whether you think they are right or not, which can lead others to mistrust your judgment. So don't just go along with the pack and just because you want to keep the peace. Try to see things from someone else's perspective and you'll find it much easier to make the right decisions. People are likely to dither more than usual now, including you. You could be dithering. But perhaps some decisions don't need to be made immediately. Well, some do and some don't. If a relationship needs an overhaul, this is a great time for it. Tempting though it may be to go it alone, you'll feel much more fulfilled if you join forces with someone else. So basically, it's a really, really good time to work on all your most important one-to-one relationships. And we're going to have a break in a couple of minutes. But when we get back from the break, I'm going to go through where Mercury is retrograde for everybody. So if you know your rising sign, I'm going to ask you to listen to your rising sign. I'll explain why. And if you don't know your rising sign, we're going to have a break in a minute. So I would suggest you hop over to moonmessages.com/free chart. Okay, moonmessages.com/free chart, and find out your rising sign. And then after the break, I will let you know where in your chart the retrograde is taking place, depending on what your rising sign is. All right, so there we go. Nice to be back here. I'll just give you the number again to call. We do have a few people waiting on the line, but just in case somebody else you'd like to join the queue, 816-251-3555, 816-251-3555 is the number. The moon is in Gemini today, so it's a really good day to be chatting away, and I'm looking forward to speaking to you. I will attempt to stay on the line when we go to the break on Facebook, but my phone is super low on battery. So if this feed disappears, I will come back on another feed. I will find a cord that's going to help me get through the next half an hour. So yeah, there we go. That's what we're going to be doing. We'll be talking about Mercury retrograde in the sign of Libra and what it means for you. And I will be taking your calls as well. See you after the break. Yeah, that's about it. So nice being back here, and it's so nice reading your comments on Facebook. If you're not on Facebook with me, it would be a great thing to hop on. You can find me on Facebook at Yasmin Boland. Just look me up there, Yasmin Boland. And I will be taking your calls. All right, we've got 30 seconds left before we go to the break, so I'm just going to do one little chant offering up everything else that happens in this show today to the divine. Here we go. Oh.
Okay, we are at break.
Thank you, Louis.
Welcome.
Olivier, darling, I think my phone's about to die. Can you come and help me, please? I tried plugging it in while we were sort of live on air, and there was a lot of clunking around, but it still seems to be saying, sorry guys. Varuna, can you call from Mauritius? Yes, you just need to dial the exit code, the country code, and then the number I have given in the description. I'm just going to try and get charging it.
Oh.
Just having a little technical intervention here.
I take the cord.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you, Leah.
Charging?
Hang on. He's not. Well, you need to charging before. Well, maybe it'll be all right.
Are you still online? I just saw myself online, did I?
Yes. Oh, you can say hello, darling. It's my beloved husband.
Hello.
Very good.
Louis ate wasabi.
Oh, good. What he's been.
6:40.
Our son's just become what they call, well, he's allowed to go out and get his lunch at school. It's a bit exciting for him. How I found you. That's very funny. Hi, Donna. Nice to see you. Hello, Mindy. Hello, Mercedes. So sweet. Yes, my husband's adorable. I don't know how I found him. Well, I do. I went to Paris. I was like, right. Repeat your phone numbers, says Nikki. All right. Yes, I will. Well, I'm tempted to say, what's the magic word, Nikki? I'm only joking. It's 816-251-3555. 816-251-3555. We're back on air actually in about 30 seconds. Thank you. Everyone's telling me I'm looking great. I think the reason why I'm looking relatively good, okay, is because I haven't had any alcohol for a month. I think that makes a difference. I'm not a big drinker anyway, but I haven't even had any champagne. Normally, if there's a bit of champagne going, I'll have some of that. I think that's really helped. Plus, I'm on all these vitamins and minerals and God knows what else. All right. I think we're going to hear the music any second now. I'm not sure. I think we're a bit out of whack, Louis, with the thing, because my clock says 16:33. My big time.
Now, with your question or comment.
We're a bit out of whack, which is why I was about to do that chant and we got cut off.
That's 816-251-3555.
All right, here we go.
Find out what's happening in the skies. Welcome back to Astrology with Yasmin.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I'm not quite sure, Louis, in Unity. I think the big time clock is different to your clock right now because you played the music to take me into the break about 30 seconds before I expected it, and then we came on a bit later. So I don't know what we can do about that, but it may make the end of this show a little bit messy, everyone. Nobody freak out. So I'm going to tell you about where Mercury retrograde is in your chart in a minute. I'm going to tell you depending on your rising sign. Hopefully you've found your rising sign. But first, I'm actually going to take a call because I'm quite fascinated. There's Emma in France. What is she? What line is she on? Emma is on line 5. So, hello, Emma. Hello.
Hi. Good evening. Hi.
Hi, Emma. So, where are you
Hello.
Where are you in France?
Well, I was born in France, but I'm currently working and living in Luxembourg.
Oh, wow, very fancy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, how many languages do you speak?
Oh, French and English. That's it.
Okay. Where were you born in France? So I can do your chart.
Just close to Paris. Should I give you the exact town?
No, Paris will be fine. All right. Okay. So, what would you like to know about today, Emma? What would you like to know about?
Yes, I was wondering about my career because I've been feeling stuck for the past couple of years. Although my salary is okay, I don't feel any motivation for my work anymore, and I'm not even sure if I should actually stay in the corporate world. And I was just wondering if you maybe could advise me on the next step to take, or maybe a big change, or I don't know, something a bit more creative. I don't know. I'm just I have lost my motivation basically. So I'm just in a kind of routine because the salary is fine, but that's it. And I don't think that's a good way of just being doing your life, just being stuck in a job that you don't really like. So,
What do you do,
yeah.
Emma?
Okay.
What do you do?
Sorry?
What's your line of work?
I am an executive assistant, but it has nothing to do with my training because I have a master's degree in art and visual culture, but for some reason, I don't know, well, it happened that I ended up as an executive assistant in a big company because, well, it just happened.
And what's your master's in?
In art and visual culture.
Oh my God. Okay. Right.
Yeah, it has
Interesting.
nothing to do with what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I see when I see your chart, Emma, is that you are a 1, 2, 3, 4. So how do you say you're a 5 times? Is it quintuple? 5 times Virgo. So you've got Venus, Mercury, the Sun, Saturn, the North Node, all in Virgo. So, I mean,
Okay.
on the one hand, it probably makes you a brilliant executive assistant because Virgo energy, for one thing, Virgo doesn't really care that much about being center of attention. It just wants to help. So, you know, being someone's executive assistant means whoever's assistant you are is a very lucky person because I'm sure you do an amazing job because you are basically here to help. So on the one hand, it suits you from that point of view. On the other hand, if you're feeling a bit stale, you know, and obviously you must have a passion for art if you've done an MA in art, would you ever think about publishing, working in the publishing world, using what you know about helping people and art and culture? Because the publishing world would really suit you. Is that something that appeals to you at all?
You mean on the writing side?
Well, I don't know, or maybe working in a publisher's or in the writing side. If you like, do you like to write or you don't like to write, or?
But it's funny that you mentioned that because it was 10 years ago. I worked for 2 years in a magazine, and I loved this job very much. I was editorial assistant for a couple of years for a maternity cover. I loved this job, but there was no possibility actually to have a permanent contract because it was just a replacement. And at the end of my contract, I really had a bad experience with the team for some reason. And after that, I was so disappointed that because I really wanted this, I really wanted to stay in that position. And, well, it didn't work out, even though, I was very disappointed. I don't want to go into details, and I think after that, it kind of broke something in me. So I felt like, well, maybe it's not the place for me, I don't know, and I just ended up doing something completely different. But this position, I remember, I really, really loved it. And because it didn't end well, after that, I kind of, let it go.
Okay, well, maybe it's time to sort of look at how you can heal what happened, so that you can actually do something that you really love.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
I think that's a good direction for you to go. Would you like a card, Emma?
Oh, yes, that would be great.
And also, remember, publishing isn't just magazines and newspapers now. It's also the internet,
Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
plenty of big companies offering proper jobs on the internet these days. Plus, there's books,
Sorry?
Plus, there's books, book publishing.
Oh, interesting. I love books. Yeah.
Well, and
you're not the first person telling me that, actually.
you've got a very, very good chart for it. The other thing is actually just looking at your chart as well. You do have the South Node going to leave your career zone quite soon. Just give me a second to tell you exactly when. It's not in the next week, but it's the next few months. And hang on a minute. Hang on. Yeah, so basically around about the start of next year. And that's going to be, it's going to make your career easier. So, on the one hand, I do think, it is worth saying, well, you should be really, you're lucky you've got a job because so many people don't have a job after this pandemic thing. On the other hand, doesn't mean you have to settle forever, but maybe by the end of next year, you'll have been able to heal some of the issues, and you'll be able to maybe go into something that you love a bit more. I think it could be good. All right. Oh, interesting. Your card is really interesting, Emma. So you got the first quarter moon in Scorpio card. I'm using my new Moonology manifestation deck. So it basically tells you how to manifest. So this card comes with the message, release your blocks. Okay, release your blocks. How do you say that in French?
Oui,
Déclencher?
débats, soit de tes blocages, de tes blocs.
Yeah.
Voilà, enfin.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Do you speak French? Yes?
Yes, mon mari est français.
Ah, d'accord, je comprends mieux. Oui, en gros, oui, débat soit de tes blocages.
Yeah, okay. Well, do that, honey bunch. Now, I'm just going to read you from the book, okay? So this is an interesting card to have come up, Emma, because you were saying you had this bad experience at the end of a job that you really loved, and you know, it kind of obviously caused a block, and then you've ended up doing something that you don't really love, and you've moved away from something you really loved. So you need to release those blocks. So, but it's not going to be like just something you can do on a Tuesday afternoon in 5 seconds. When it comes to pushing through your fears and any other negative feelings, you're going to have to dig deeper. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself, because fear blocks us. Make time to clear any toxic feelings around you. Now, that would include forgiving whoever upset you back in the old job. Don't let pride stop you from showing how dearly you want something. It's okay to be vulnerable if you know the people you're dealing with are trustworthy. If you think about others as much as you think about yourself, and that's actually important for you because you're being so Virgo, it's very easy for you just to think about others all the time. So, manifesting mix. There's light and shade in your situation and you need to embrace it. Don't get stuck on one idea and refuse to budge. So if you want to do a little manifesting ritual, which all my cards from the manifestation deck have a little ritual. So here we go. So your sacral chakra, that's Svadhisthana, is all about emotions and feelings. It's located just below your navel, and it's bright orange in colour. Think of the way that water flows, and that's how this chakra can help your feelings to flow now. So imagine yourself bathing in a beautiful column of warming orange light, okay? And then just say, you don't have to do it right now, do it after, and then just say, I am releasing any energetic debris so I can fulfill my potential. So it's just about clearing out whatever happened to you so that you can start to move back into something that you can love.
Good. Thank you so much. I have a quick question. Does that entail going back to school, or am I done with studying at university?
Well, let's have a quick look.
It depends on.
You could actually go back to study if you wanted to. But I'll tell you when. Not right now. Maybe you'll get an entry-level job and you'll study so that you can go higher. 2023, it's good for you to go back to study.
Okay, so now I should stay in my current job until I decide to just move on with my...
or maybe you go in sideways. Maybe you get an executive assistant job in a publishing company and then do the study and then go up through the ranks.
Yeah, makes sense. Great. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. Thank you for calling.
Thank you. Do you do one-on-one consultation or?
No, this is all I do right now is this radio show. I just don't have time. They just take hours and hours.
Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you so much for your help. Thank
You
you very
are
much.
so welcome. Merci. Bonne journée. Thanks, Emma. All right. So I said before we went to the break that I would tell you where Mercury is going backwards for you now in the sign of Libra. Okay. And again, I'm going to give my little book a little plug here, the Mercury retrograde book. If you go to mercuryretrogradebook.com, you'll find the book and you actually get a whole lot of bonuses that help you understand Mercury retrograde if you buy the book from there. mercuryretrogradebook.com. So if you are Aries or Aries rising, and listen to your rising signs, way more important when you're listening to something like this, if you know your rising sign, it's in your love zone. So second chances and a bit of backtracking in your love zone. If you're Taurus or Taurus rising, it's in your 6th house. So that is your daily work and health, part of your daily work and health routines. So time to rethink, revamp, renew, revise, revisit your health routines. If you're Gemini or Gemini rising, it's in your 5th house, which is romance, creativity and children. So second chances, but also a bit of confusion possible in those areas. If you're Cancerian or Cancer rising, Moonchild rising as I like to call it, it's in your 4th house of home and family. So rethink, revise, revisit and kind of confusion to do with home and family. Can be with the people you live with, can be with actual family members. Leo or Leo rising, it's in your 3rd house. So you're getting a bit of what's called a double whammy, which is that it's taking place in your mind zone. So it can be a confusing time, but it's also a really good time to change your mind about something. If you're Virgo or Virgo rising, it's in your 2nd house, cash, property and possessions. So second chances when it comes to cash, property and possessions. Libra or Libra rising, it's in your 1st house. So for one thing, it's a really good time to overhaul your image, change the way people see you. But it's also your whole entire life is up for renegotiation. So think about how you want to change your life. This is your chance to redo everything. If you're Scorpio or Scorpio rising, it's in your 12th house, which is very much about spirituality and also about fears. So it can be a time to sort of rethink your spirituality, or an old fear can come back. Now is the time to deal with it. If you're Sag or Sagittarius rising, we had Carla before on the line. It's in your 11th house, which is hopes and wishes and friends. So rethink, revise, revisit, re-edit, renew, but also confusion in those parts of your life. If you are Capricorn or Capricorn rising, it's in your 10th house, which is actually the part of your chart that's all about your career, your brilliant, brilliant career. So a really good time to rethink your career trajectory. Where do you want to go? But it can also mean more confusion at work. But also second chances when it comes to work, or if you're studying, it's study. If you're Aquarius or Aquarius rising, it's in your 9th house, which is mainly about study, travel and adventure. So a really good time to revisit somewhere you once went, to do some study, just reread a book that changed your life. But can also be a time of, it can be an interesting time to travel. Like if you travel now, it might be a little bit chaotic. And finally, if you're Pisces or Pisces rising, it's in your 8th house of sex and money. So second chances, but also confusion potential when it comes to sex and money. And that is all from my book, the Mercury Retrograde book. And like I said, go to mercuryretrogradebook.com to get a whole lot of bonuses when you buy the book. There's I can't remember what there is now. I wrote the book a few years ago, but I think there's, for one thing, there's a little mini sort of explainer video about Mercury retrograde if you're new to the whole concept, and how to tell where it is in your chart every time. So you get that in the book, but it's also like an added explainer video. Plus, I'm pretty sure there's a chart to the goddess Saraswati, who's the goddess that we associate with communication, because she's the goddess of language, and Mercury is the planet of communication. So it's a chant to the goddess Saraswati. And I actually can't remember what the other bonus is, but if you go to mercuryretrogradebook.com, you will find it, and you can have it as a part of your way of saying thank you for having bought the book. So, and Mercury's going to be retrograde for a few weeks. All right, so let's go to Catherine on line 4. Catherine on line 4, because she wants to talk about the retrograde. What's news, Catherine?
Hi, Jasmine. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling much better, thank you. Much better. And I don't know if you heard the start of the show. I was saying I got a card yesterday that said it's time to take action. And I think just the decision that I was going to start taking action really helped me, because I think I was sort of in this sort of post-COVID, I've got to be really careful, I've been really unwell, and getting that action card really kind of spurred me on a bit. So there you go. Thanks for asking.
That's Facebook. So I'm just glad you're on the mend. That's pretty horrifying to think that you got it even after being vaccinated. So
I know. Apparently the chances are 13,000 to 1.
I know.
But you know what? My son got it. And, you know, he's 14 and, you know, they all get it. And he, thank God, sailed through with absolutely, like, zero symptoms. Apart from he kind of was a bit hot one night. And we were like, oh, ha, maybe we should test you for COVID, ha. And, you know, we've been testing each other for COVID all summer because everybody around us had COVID and we didn't get it. And then we had all the tests, the lateral flow, so we tested him. He's like, oh, my God, he's positive. So, you know, it was all a bit chaotic. But he was fine. My husband was, I would say, just really tired because he got it as well. All three of us had it. And I was just sick as a dog. But I also think it's because I'm not really in very good shape. So I'm sort of committing now to getting in better shape because I don't think being out of shape is a good thing when you've got COVID. So I'm getting in better shape for my health, not just for my vanity or appearance, which is less of a driver for me. So anyway, Miss Catherine, enough about me and COVID. I'm like one of those old people who talks about their ailments. What would you like to know about today, Catherine?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm not greatly surprised to find out there's Mercury retrograde because I've got your diary and I've been following that quite religiously the last couple of years. But I don't understand what has been going on. I feel like I've been a space cadet the last few weeks. It's like I can't focus. I don't know what can be planetary, but it just seems like everything has just been upside down. And I'm a Virgo rising, Aries with a Virgo rising. So I'm used to just being able to go, and direct. I'm not used to this being a space cadet. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm kind of impressed that it's taken you this long to feel like a space cadet, actually. Because you've had the space cadet planet Neptune going over all your planets for a very long time. So
It's catching up with me.
yeah, it's kind of catching up with you. You know, the best thing you can do, Catherine, is to meditate, because Neptune is the planet of meditation. And you know, the more meditation you do, the less space cadet issues you're going to have. But this is a long cycle you've been in, like for quite a few years. So, you know, yeah. Did you used to meditate and you stopped, or what happened there?
No, I'm a dedicated meditator. I've been meditating now since 2016. I pretty much don't start my day without it.
Right. Well, that's good. Well, Neptune's coming up to your Venus, which is obviously the planet of femininity. So, you know, just keep meditating. And also, in a way, I would say just, you know, just allow yourself to be a bit spacey. But maybe you're just, you know, like, you know, we all get a bit older and not quite as sharp as we used to be. Maybe there's something of that going on as well. Not being rude, but you know what I mean. Like, you know, they talk about senior moments.
I understand. It's just that it's just very frustrating. But then it has been, I guess it's been like this for a while. It's just getting tired of it is really what it comes down to. So.
Right, yeah. Well, okay. you're in this cycle. This cycle will kind of it would kind of peak in May, but you've still got a bit more of it next year as well. So, you know, meditate, try to give into it, surrender a lot to the divine. But also, you know, like, I mean, if you find you're really foggy-headed, maybe it's something to do with your hormones or something. So, you know, go and see a doctor or a naturopath if it persists, because maybe there's something you can do about it. Maybe you're just getting brain fog or something, you know, plus Neptune on your Venus. You've had Neptune on your Mercury, now you're going to have Neptune on your Venus. Would you like a card, Catherine? Would that be a good idea?
I would love a card.
What would be the question? Just general life guidance, or what is it you want to manifest? Because I'm going to use my manifestation cards, and you really kind of need a manifestation goal. What would you like to manifest? Do you dare say it on air?
I would like to manifest a yoga healthcare center or healing center.
Oh, actually, you got a good card for that. You got the full moon in Sagittarius, which is see the bigger picture. Actually, Your stars are really good for doing something like that. Really good. And you've actually got Chiron, the wounded healer, headed for your sun. And I mean, to start a healing center under those that astrology would be very, very good. Hang on, let me just find you the card. I'm have a senior moment here myself. No, here we go. See the bigger picture. Okay. Have you been arguing with anyone?
They don't know it, but yeah.
All right, because this is actually addressing that as well. When it comes to the argument with your friend or whoever it is, be the bigger person. Diffuse any upsets with humour. The world is your oyster when you draw this card, but you need to find a balance between where you are and where you want to be. So that applies more to the yoga. I mean, maybe you need to do some more research before you move closer to whatever it is that you want. So think about that, researching into what would actually take to open up your yoga center. When you're manifesting, the journey of discovery can be as empowering as dreaming the big dream. So find a balance. Basically, you need to find a balance between dreaming the dream, but also, like the big picture, but also taking care of the details. Yeah?
Right. Okay. I like that. Thank you.
And if you want to meditate and visualize your yoga center, add sandalwood to your diffuser before you do your meditation.
Oh.
And then do your your meditations. Where are you in the States, Catherine? Where's this yoga center going to be? Just out of interest.
It's probably going to be in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Oh, very nice. Cool. All right. Well, let us know when it's open, and we'll come out and come and do some yoga.
An invite.
That'd be
I'll send you an invite.
I would love that. All right, guys, we are about to go off air. That is the show done for the week. Thanks to everyone who called. I'm really sorry that I couldn't answer everyone's. I couldn't take everyone's call. Yep, that's it. I hear the music playing. I'll be back next Monday, same time, same place. More readings.